Welcome to the Online Trainer Show, where we help fitness and nutrition pros take better care of their clients and build profitable businesses. I'm Jonathan Goodman, and as always, I'm joined by Amber Reynolds. We're happy you're here. Let's start the show. Hey, Jonathan Goodman here, and we have a special episode where we're going to be talking about what the first steps are creating your online training business. So whether you're brand new or not, I think that you'll still get something from this episode. And we've got a special guest host with Amber. Alex Cartmill is back on the show. Alex ran the Online Trainer Academy. He actually helped build the Online Trainer Academy with me. He co-authored the Wealthy Fit Bro's Guide to Online Training, and he's been sort of my right hand for a lot of years. He's been working with our students really on the front lines for years, and I can't think of anybody who knows more about how to actually get started with an online training business than him, and I'm excited to hear from him, and I hope that you are too.
All right, so we're back. Alex is here. And we're gonna tackle another big topic that we get a lot, because obviously, since we work for the Online Trainer Academy, we get a lot of people that are brand new, and before they kind of jump in with us, the question is like, what are my first steps about, when I go to create my business? So I figured we could do a deep dive into those kind of first steps when you are trying to create your online business. You're brand new and you're like, I have no idea what to do first. So, Alex, what are your thoughts?
So, let's take that situation. You're a personal trainer, maybe you're an online trainer. You want to be in the online training business, or you want to work with clients online. What's my first step? Okay. My perspective, your first step there is kind of twofold, but they go really hand in hand. And this is a really foundational piece of your business is, who do you help and what problem do you solve? This is something that we cover extensively with the USP in Module 1, but it's important because this is going to be the root of a lot of your decision-making moving forward. How do I price? How do I package? How do I support my people? How do I structure this? How do I do this? I so often, when I get those questions, it's who do you help? What is it that you do, which is basically what problem do you solve? And that's going to answer a lot of those questions, because there isn't a here's the right pricing strategy. Here's the right way to support people. Here's the right way to market. Here's the right way to take your first step forward. No, we have to start with who do you help, which maybe we can talk about that for a little bit, because your USP, I'd be really curious to get your thoughts on this, because for brand new people who don't have a strong direction in terms of who they want to help. And let's say they've been a personal trainer at a big box gym or something. And, we hear this all the time. I've worked with everyone from 20-year-olds to 90-year-olds and men and women and all of this different things. Are like, I really don't know who I want to work with. And I often find that stems from a place of, I feel like I have to be so specific. And again, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this, because I often find myself giving advice to people really early in the stage to say, actually, don't go really specific on a demographic if you have absolutely no idea, and get more specific on what you help them accomplish, especially if you would work with a 31-year-old man or a 62-year-old woman who had similar aspirations and goals and problems and stuff like that. If from your perspective, you would work with them, great. Keep a wide net on the demographic and get really specific and resonate with them in terms of what you help them do. And then that will have you cast a bit of a wider net to start, get a few more people in. And then you can always narrow down from there if you want. But I think there's also a potential to not even narrow down on the demographics, potentially, I think, as you grow, but that's not this conversation. Because what really resonates with people is, what do you help them do? Where are they at right now at point A that would cause them to think, I need to find a solution to make myself healthier? And where do they want to be at point B? And how are they able to live their lives? If you're able to speak to that, and a lot of this comes from, think back to your past clients, like why are you passionate about working with them? What has filled your heart when someone tells you that they accomplished this thing? What really motivates you? And start there. But I find that is counter to what a lot of people think, because they think I need to have an age range, I need to have a gender, I need to have a job, I need to have all these things. I'm like, maybe, you know, if you work with golfers and you want to work with golfers online, okay, easy. Now we can get golfers, now we can get a little bit more specific. If you're coming from, I'm just a trainer, I've worked with a handful of people, I've done everything, I've done hypertrophy, I've done fat loss, I've done corrective stuff, I've done whatever. Okay, let's maybe cast a wide net for our benefit for the demographics, and then think about the solution you provide them and to really resonate.
Yeah, I find the difficulty here really interesting, and there's kind of two thoughts for me. If you are absolutely brand new, like you're a brand new trainer, you don't have any experience, then chances are you're going to go general because you just don't have any experience, and this is your opportunity to get experience. That's fine. However, if you've been working in the industry a little bit and you've worked with a handful of people, you have enough data to go off of. But we tend to complicate it. So like you said, like, okay, it has to be like from 24 to 27, and like, you know, it has to be identified this way and that way, and, you know, whatever. It doesn't need to be that complicated. It could be situation-based, culture, mindset, like, you know, mine, working moms, but like, I want hot mess working moms. I don't want the ones that have their stuff together. I don't want that. It made me feel bad. I don't want to work with them.
Exactly.
There's Vaughn, and Vaughn, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your last name, but he just launched his business. It's for introverts. Do you think it's freaking brilliant? Like, he's building his entire business around introverts because he knows that they don't want, you know, in your face interaction. You know, they don't want the constant calls and all this stuff. And so he's built the business around people who are introverted. And so it could be a whatever age range, whatever gender identity, whatever, right? But it's a mindset and a preference that he's narrowed in on that I think is really smart.
And it's amazing because I'm just being introspective right now and thinking, because I know what you're talking about, and it's called introvert fitness, right? He posted one thing, and I clicked on his profile, and I think his cover photo said introvert fitness. I was on his page for maybe 0.5 seconds, and it stuck in my mind because it was different, and it spoke very clearly, and I'm an introvert. And so it was like, it's amazing what being specific like that can do, but a lot of the specificity can be with things like that. Like, an introvert could be any demographic. I mean, that could be anyone. And so I often find myself saying, especially with age ranges, I find people like to put those in just for the sake of it. I always say, so if someone says, I work with 25 to 40-year-olds, my advice is always, you know, if it's critical to your niche, keep it. But if you're putting that in just for the sake of narrowing down, and you would work with a 24-year-old or a 41-year-old in a similar position, and you could help them just the same, then I say remove it. There's other ways to speak to people that aren't gender, age, busy or not, or are you a professional, or are you an entrepreneur? There's other labels, and probably more powerful labels, like introvert, for instance, that you can speak to.
100%. Okay, so we have our who and what we're helping them with. So their unique selling proposition. What's next?
So then there's the other part of that super high level foundational work that I like to do is there's the who you help, and then there's the what problem do you solve. I mean, now we're talking slightly more general business, but finding and building a solution to a problem is going to be much more effective than building a solution and then finding people who have the problem. And so you have to understand, and this is why these two things go hand in hand, because who you're helping, what problems do they have, and then what's the solution. Now, in a situation like this, you're already a trainer, you probably have a decent understanding of that, but it often runs deeper than you might think, and it definitely runs deeper than I provide fitness solutions for people. I write workout programs, I write nutrition programs. It runs a lot deeper than that. And having a true understanding of what problem that it is you solve, it allows you to speak to the problem first and foremost, and it allows you to speak to a solution that really resonates with people outside of, I'm going to get you your dream body. I'm going to, whatever people say that's a little bit superficial. You have to understand what you actually do and where your true value is too, because that increases your confidence in what you do. And it helps you realize what problem you're truly solving. You know, you're giving people you're able to take health and fitness off of people's minds oftentimes so that they can really dedicate their energy and focus to other parts of their life that's more important to them, while also feeling really amazing that they're checking this health box and they're solving maybe there's other problems of they want to look better, they want to feel more confident. And so really, really understanding, and this ties in with who it is that you help, because why they would come to work with you in the first place is going to vary, and that's their problem. And so what the solution is obviously going to vary or going to depend on the problem. And so I think just really having that understanding of what you do before you kind of go out there and say, I'm a fitness professional, I help people get in good shape. I think that's good. That's fine. But it runs deeper, and you should understand that for your people. And that's going to make your communications and everything, once again, all your decisions moving forward are going to be rooted in, okay, well, who am I helping, and what's the solution? So I think identifying that, or at least having that in the back of your mind as you take these small steps forward, like these tactical steps of like, okay, let's get my social media set up, like we spoke about in the previous episode, or whatever it may be, just having that in the back of your mind, it's like, this should be figured out on the earlier end, I think is important.
Yeah. So just to give an example here, so back to like my demographic, hot mess working mom. So that's my who. And my what is saving their sanity, right? Because they already have so much emotional and mental labor that they're responsible for. The problem I'm solving is the mental and emotional labor of being healthy.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem I'm solving for them. And that's also a language that they identify with. They complain about the emotional, and justly they complain about the emotional and mental labor of everything they do as a mom, as a significant other, as an employee, whatever. They have nothing left to give. That's the problem I'm solving. So being able to identify that, I'm not talking about the how. I'm not talking about the program and the nutrition and, the coaching calls and all that stuff. That's the how. We can talk about that later, but like in the immediate sense, we need to talk about the what.
Yes, for sure. And it's high level, it's theoretical, but again, we touch on this as step one because it's going to be how you make decisions moving forward. And it's going to be how you make an educated decision moving forward, and not just a complete guess I'm going to price my package like this because I saw someone else doing it. I'm going to provide support because, this is how my coach did it for me, or this is how this person in the Facebook group did it. It could work. It could. But from a longevity perspective, which is always the perspective we're taking, having this understanding and the decisions that come from it are going to, that's the position you want to be in. You don't always want to be, okay, I've come to this roadblock. Now I have to just take some stabs in the dark as to what to do, because we see that all the time. And so that's really where that's coming from. And I just want to make that comment because it's thinking, it's high level. Now you can learn this by getting out in the market and talking to people and doing some guerrilla stuff and whatever. So, doesn't have to be just all sitting back and stroking your beard and thinking like, what is it that I do? You should get this from the mouths of the people you've helped. No question. But just the general idea I find is,
because I'm such a beard stroker because mine is just so long and luscious,
It's the only reason I haven't shaved. It's actually laziness, but I really just like to say it's because I think better when I stroke my beard.
There you go. Noted. Okay, so we have the how, or the who. I'm sorry, we have the who and we have the what. So what's next? What do we do next?
So then we have to take some steps into actually. Now it's dependent on who you are, where you want to go. I guess that's maybe another really fundamental piece is like, what's your motive with this? What does your end goal look like? Do you want to be 100% online? Do you want to be hybrid? Do you want to be in person and do stuff? Do you want to quit your full-time job? Do you want to have an income that supplements your income? Again, it's just another fundamental a lot of your decisions are going to be rooted from that, and you have to identify your end goal. So I think that's the other kind of to round out those fundamental pillars is you have to figure out your own motives. And by the way, I mentioned that for multiple reasons. One is it's really important to have this end goal of like, I want to make $1,000, $2,000 a month so that I can cut back my hours at this job, or so I can not feel stressed about money. Okay, good. So now you have a quantifiable goal, and you can work backwards from there in terms of, okay, so I need this many clients at this many dollars per month or whatever it may be to hit that goal. So I think it's really helpful to just have the endpoint of kind of the path that you're about to go on, just for your own clarity. But the other one, and this takes a lot of self-awareness, also trying to understand your motives. I mean, we've spoken to people a lot who they get into the online fitness space or just the online business space in general because they think it will be easy and it's a path to quick money, and they want to sit on the beach, and they're not passionate about the craft. They're passionate about the life that it will give them. And I think that's okay, but those people struggle when it comes to building an independent service-based business that's sustainable, because as soon as there's a challenge in the road, there's a road bump, whatever it may be, it's not going to feel worth it. It's going to feel really taxing. The road ahead to that goal is going to feel so daunting. And if you're not doing it because you're passionate about what you do and you want to help people and you want to change lives and you want to amplify what it is that you're passionate about as an individual, the inevitable challenges that are going to arise from building a business and starting on this journey are going to be not worth it, I think, for a lot of those people. And so I think looking internally and thinking, why do I really want to do this? Okay, I really want to start this online business. Let's just take a second to have some self-awareness and think, why? What's my end goal and why do I want to get there? If you want to have an extra 1,000 months, you don't have to worry about money, and you're a passionate trainer who helps people, and you, of course, you want to be able to help people online, and great. I think that's a good place to be. If you're someone who's not a certified trainer and or whatever, you're not practicing a craft right now, and you're like, I want to get into the online space because I like working in my pajamas and it's easy and I don't want to talk to people.
I'm feeling kind of called out, Alex. Just asking.
No, but it's, I mean, I want that too. But
just to be clear.
It's not that you can't want that, but if it's your top priority for doing this. Yeah. I mean, I would argue our top priority is because we're genuinely passionate about helping people and watching them move forward. And we do that when it's not easy. In fact, it's not easy for us most of the time. But if we were only doing it for the sheer outcome for our life, that wouldn't be enough to push us through. I mean, we would have quit by now for sure. And so it's again, a high level, a fundamental piece, but I think something that, because I'm really trying to think about what makes or breaks a lot of students from a longevity standpoint, like what students can sustain a business for 15 years and then what students, struggle from day 4. And things like this that really pop up. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts around that if that resonates with you at all.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, without a goal, there's no gravity. I think that was a lesson from Precision Nutrition. I don't know if they stole it from someone else, but it's something that's kind of stuck with me. And if you don't know where you're going or where you want to go, how are you supposed to build something? The last thing we want for our students to do is to build a business that they dread to participate in. So glad you brought that up, because in my mind I had a different step in my brain. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. Is we don't want you to build a business that you feel like you're suffocating in. So it's equally as important for you to know what you want. I mean, that's probably the most important thing, is that you know what you want it to look like. And then maybe we should, edit this and put this at the very beginning, and then, the who and the what. But
sure,
it's such a good point. So I'm really glad that you brought that up.
And I didn't even think about it how you just said it, because enjoyment. I mean, that wasn't even at the top of my mind when I said you have to know what you want, but I think that is massive. I mean, if you're unhappy and you don't like running your business, that's going to be the bottleneck, unless you just push past it and your clients still love you and you're able to put on a fake smile all the time. But
and I want whatever drugs you're on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You might not. But
That's pretty powerful.
But, it's real. And speaking of PN, I think Dr. Berardi said a good litmus test for this is like, where do you want your butt to be throughout the day? There's a lot of people who are like, and I know we've seen this, I hate staring at screens. I don't want to be at the computer. I hate social media. It's something to think about. It's not the saying that you can't run a business. Of course you can. But if you don't like people, or you hate the computer, or you don't like being on social media, especially for an online service-based business, it could pose some challenges. And so just having self-awareness from an enjoyment perspective, I think is huge for sure.
Maybe we should do another episode about how to run an online business when you hate social media. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
It could be interesting. I'll add it to our list. Well, this has probably been an episode where it wasn't what you were expecting. Because this is, anytime Alex and I are together, we're always going to go the philosophical route, without question. But that is, I think, majorly important. This is the work that no one wants to do.
Yeah.
This is the thought processes that you have to go through and own before doing like the typical, I need to build my package. I need to figure out my pricing. I need to figure out how to get paid. I need to figure out this and that. These are the true first steps that you have to take. And they're the ones that people miss all of the time.
It's the unsexy ones. I don't find that these are the things that when because we have spoken to hundreds, maybe thousands of students one-on-one and really delved into their situation. These are the things from my perspective that are the difference makers between people who, like I said, make it in quotes or don't, and who really struggle or don't. These things give you direction. They give you direction in terms of how to package stuff, how to build stuff. And by the way, a lot of the tactical stuff, Google it. Like, what are payment processor options? What's the fee for this? I'm always happy to answer those questions, but also as a business owner, get used to like resorting to Google for things like that, because especially with things that have an objective answer to them, you don't need, you have the answer. You just have to find it. So that's the other reason I go to topics like this, is because you can't Google this really, and you can't find an answer by Googling this. So I like to plant these seeds because they're super important. But oh my gosh, yes, make Google your best friend. It's amazing to me how people won't use that for simple questions. I'll get a question from a student and I'll be like, so I had no idea, to try to show them, like, I had no idea, so I Googled it. And here's where we're at. And the amount that you learn, even if something doesn't have an objective answer, go read forums just to get a little idea of the pulse of what's happening. And like, there's so much information that take all at our fingertips. So do not be afraid to use Google to, my first website, I was on Google constantly, just being like, what's the plugin for this? Can this platform do this? And like, that's how I learned how to build. And so it is your best friend when you're getting going. Use it all the time.
100%. I always say I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I'm definitely the most resourceful.
Right. Which so
I can figure it out. Give me a computer and I can figure anything out.
I think that's more important than like inherent intelligence, whatever that means. I think resourcefulness is, especially as a business owner, going to serve you much better in the long run.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a really great way to end this. And my dogs are barking and they're being obnoxious. So I think it's a good time for us to say goodbye. Thanks again. Yeah, the dogs want to be on the podcast too,
Exactly.
So Lincoln, Penny, and Aria say hello to Charlie. So,
but he's snoring right now. But
that's his MO.
Yeah, he's dreaming about them. I think, if I had to guess.
Oh, No, we're sending puppy love.
Well, thanks so much.
All right. Well,
Amber.
thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
And then, yeah, and listeners, please be sure to leave a review and to subscribe and all of that good stuff. And then we will catch y'all later.
Later.